Have you ever wondered what's really happening inside your head during those 8 hours when you close your eyes and drift away from the world? Most people think sleep is just a time when your brain shuts down, like powering off a computer at the end of the day. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Your sleeping mind is actually more active than you might imagine, orchestrating one of the most fascinating and mysterious processes in human biology. While you're lying there motionless, your brain is busy sorting through memories, solving problems, and literally cleaning itself. It's running maintenance programs that keep you sane, healthy, and capable of functioning when you wake up. Tonight, we're going to pull back the curtain on what really happens to your mind while you sleep. We'll explore the hidden stages your brain cycles through, discover why some nights feel more restful than others, and uncover the surprising ways your sleeping mind might actually be smarter than your waking one. But here's what makes this even more incredible. Everything I'm about to show you is backed by cutting-edge neuroscience research that's completely revolutionizing how we understand sleep. Scientists are using advanced brain imaging technology to peek inside sleeping minds in real time, and what they're finding is absolutely mind-blowing. By the end of this exploration, you'll never think about sleep the same way again. You'll understand why getting quality sleep is one of the most powerful things you can do for your brain, and you might even pick up some tricks to optimize your own sleep for better mental performance. So let's dive into the hidden world of your sleeping mind. The moment you close your eyes and start to drift off, your brain doesn't simply switch off like a light. Instead, it begins one of the most complex and carefully orchestrated processes in all of biology. Think of it less like shutting down a computer and more like a bustling city transitioning from day shift to night shift. The workers change, but the activity never stops. Within minutes of falling asleep, your brain waves begin to slow down in a very specific pattern. During your waking hours, your brain produces what scientists call beta waves, rapid electrical pulses that fire about 15 to 30 times per second. These fast waves reflect the intense mental activity of consciousness, keeping you alert and focused on the world around you. But as you start to relax and close your eyes, something fascinating happens. Your brain waves begin to slow down, shifting into what researchers call alpha waves, pulsing at about 8 to 12 cycles per second. This is your brain's way of preparing for the transition ahead, like dimming the lights before a theater performance begins. Then comes the first official stage of sleep, and this is where things get really interesting. Your brain waves slow down even further, dropping into what scientists call theta waves. These pulse at just 4 to 8 cycles per second, and they mark your entry into light sleep. But here's the fascinating part. During this stage, you might experience something called hypnagogic hallucinations. Have you ever been drifting off to sleep and suddenly felt like you were falling, causing you to jerk awake? Or maybe you've heard someone call your name just as you were dozing off, only to realize nobody was there. These aren't signs that something's wrong with your brain. They're actually completely normal phenomena that occur during this transition phase. Your brain is essentially caught between two worlds, the conscious world you just left behind and the unconscious realm you're entering. During this in-between state, your mind can create vivid sensory experiences that feel completely real. Some people see flashes of light or geometric patterns, Others hear music or voices. It's like your brain is experimenting with different channels before settling on the right frequency for sleep. But this first stage is just the beginning. After about 10 to 15 minutes in light sleep, your brain takes another step deeper into the sleep cycle. This is where we encounter stage 2 of non-REM sleep, and it's characterized by some truly remarkable brain activity. During stage 2 sleep, your brain begins producing what scientists call sleep spindles and K complexes. Now, these might sound like science fiction terms, but they're actually specific patterns of electrical activity that serve crucial functions. Sleep spindles are brief bursts of rhythmic brainwave activity that last about 1 to 2 seconds. They get their name because when scientists first observed them on brain monitoring equipment, the patterns looked like spindles spinning on a loom. These sleep spindles aren't random noise. They're actually your brain's security system, working to keep you asleep by blocking external sensory information from reaching your consciousness. When a car honks outside your window or your neighbor's dog starts barking, sleep spindles help prevent these sounds from waking you up. The more sleep spindles your brain produces, the better you are at sleeping through disturbances. K complexes are even more interesting. These are sudden, sharp waves of brain activity that can occur spontaneously or in response to external stimuli. Think of them as your brain's way of checking, is everything still safe? Should I stay asleep or wake up? They're like security guards doing periodic rounds, making sure the environment is still conducive to rest. What's remarkable is that people who are good sleepers tend to produce more sleep spindles and K complexes than people who struggle with sleep. It's as if some brains are naturally better equipped with these protective mechanisms, while others need a little help developing them. During stage 2 sleep, your body temperature begins to drop, your heart rate slows down, and your breathing becomes more regular. You'll spend about 45 to 55% of your total sleep time in this stage, making it the most common phase of your nightly rest. But your brain isn't just idling during this time. It's actually performing some crucial maintenance work that we're only beginning to understand. One of the most fascinating discoveries in recent sleep research is something called the glymphatic system. This is essentially your brain's cleaning crew, and it becomes incredibly active during sleep. Just like your house accumulates dust and debris throughout the day, your brain accumulates metabolic waste products as you think, learn, and experience the world. During waking hours, your brain cells are packed tightly together, leaving little room for cleaning fluids to circulate. But during sleep, something remarkable happens. Your brain cells actually shrink by about 60%, creating highways for cerebrospinal fluid to flow through and wash away the accumulated waste. This cleaning process is absolutely critical for brain health. One of the waste products that gets cleared away during sleep is a protein called beta amyloid, which is strongly associated with Alzheimer's disease. People who consistently get poor sleep have higher levels of beta amyloid in their brains, which might explain why chronic sleep deprivation is linked to increased risk of dementia later in life. But the cleaning isn't the only important work happening during stage 2 sleep. Your brain is also busy consolidating memories from the day. During your waking hours, you encounter thousands of pieces of information, most of which your brain initially treats as potentially important. but you can't possibly remember everything you saw, heard, or experienced during the day. Sleep is when your brain sorts through this information, deciding what's worth keeping and what can be discarded. Important memories get transferred from temporary storage areas to more permanent locations in your brain, while irrelevant information gets deleted to make room for tomorrow's experiences. This process isn't random. Your brain tends to prioritize memories that were emotionally significant, information that relates to your goals and interests, and experiences that were repeated or rehearsed. It's like having a highly intelligent librarian working through the night, organizing your mental library and making sure the most important books are easy to find. Scientists have discovered that people who get adequate sleep after learning something new perform significantly better on tests compared to people who stay awake or get poor sleep. The sleeping brain literally rewires itself to make new information more accessible. This is why cramming all night before an exam is actually counterproductive. Your brain needs sleep to properly file away what you've learned. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Your brain doesn't just passively store memories during sleep. It actually works on them, finding connections and patterns that weren't obvious during your waking hours. This is why you might go to bed struggling with a problem and wake up with a solution, or why creative insights often come after a good night's rest. The phrase "sleep on it" isn't just folk wisdom, it's actually scientifically accurate advice. Your sleeping brain continues to process information and can arrive at solutions that your conscious mind missed. Some of history's greatest discoveries and innovations reportedly came to their creators during dreams or upon waking from sleep. As you progress deeper into stage 2 sleep, your brain prepares for the next phase of the sleep cycle. Your brain waves continue to slow down, and you become even less responsive to external stimuli. But you're not heading toward complete unconsciousness. Instead, you're approaching one of the most restorative phases of sleep, where your brain will perform some of its most important work. This is just the beginning of your nightly journey through the landscape of sleep. Your mind is about to enter phases that are even more mysterious and crucial for your mental and physical health. The deeper stages of sleep that lie ahead will reveal even more surprising truths about what your brain accomplishes while you're completely unaware. As your brain waves continue to slow, you're about to enter what scientists consider the holy grail of sleep, stage 3, also known as deep sleep or slow wave sleep. This is where your brain produces the slowest, most powerful waves of the entire night, called delta waves, which pulse at just 0.5 to 2 cycles per second. If someone tried to wake you during this phase, you'd be groggy, disoriented, and probably pretty annoyed. This is the stage where sleepwalking and night terrors occur, because your brain is so deeply disconnected from conscious awareness that it can trigger complex behaviors without any memory of them happening. But what's truly remarkable about deep sleep isn't just how disconnected you become from the outside world. It's what your brain accomplishes during this phase that makes it absolutely essential for your mental health and cognitive performance. During deep sleep, your brain becomes like a master conductor, orchestrating a symphony of restoration and renewal. Your pituitary gland releases growth hormone in massive quantities, not just to help children grow taller, but to repair and regenerate tissues throughout your body. including your brain cells themselves. This is also when your brain's memory consolidation process kicks into overdrive. Remember how I mentioned that stage 2 sleep helps transfer memories from temporary to permanent storage? Well, deep sleep is where the really important work happens. Your brain doesn't just file away memories during this phase, it actually strengthens the neural pathways that encode them. Scientists have discovered that the slow delta waves of deep sleep help synchronize the activity between different brain regions, allowing them to communicate more effectively. It's like your brain is running a high-speed internet connection between areas that normally operate somewhat independently during waking hours. This enhanced connectivity allows your brain to find relationships between seemingly unrelated pieces of information. That math concept you struggled with during the day might suddenly make sense because your sleeping brain connected it to something you already understand. That creative project you've been stuck on might get unstuck because your brain found a new angle you hadn't considered. One of the most fascinating aspects of deep sleep is how it affects your brain's ability to learn new things. Studies have shown that people who get adequate deep sleep can improve their performance on complex tasks by up to 20% compared to people who are sleep deprived. Your brain literally becomes more capable after a good night's deep sleep. But here's something that might surprise you about deep sleep. The amount you get naturally decreases as you age. Young children spend about 20 to 25% of their sleep in the deep stage, which makes sense because their brains are rapidly developing and need intensive maintenance. But by the time you reach your 60s, you might only spend 5 to 10% of your sleep in this crucial stage. This decline in deep sleep might explain why older adults often complain about memory problems and why they don't feel as refreshed after a night's sleep. Their brains simply aren't getting as much time for the intensive restoration and consolidation work that happens during this phase. The good news is that there are ways to potentially increase your deep sleep, and we're learning more about them all the time. Regular exercise, maintaining a cool sleeping environment, and avoiding alcohol and caffeine late in the day can all help promote deeper, more restorative sleep. After spending about 15 to 20% of your night in deep sleep, your brain begins to shift gears once again. But instead of moving to an even deeper stage, something unexpected happens. Your brain activity starts to increase, your breathing becomes irregular, and your eyes begin to move rapidly beneath your closed lids. Welcome to REM sleep, arguably the most mysterious and fascinating phase of your entire sleep cycle. REM stands for rapid eye movement, and during this stage, your brain becomes almost as active as it is when you're fully awake. In fact, if scientists looked at your brain waves during REM sleep without knowing you were asleep, they might think you were lying there with your eyes open, fully conscious and alert, but you're not conscious at all. Instead, you're experiencing the most vivid, complex, and often bizarre dreams of the night. This is where your mind creates entire worlds, complete with characters, storylines, and emotional experiences that can feel more real than reality itself. What makes REM sleep so intriguing is that your brain essentially paralyzes your body during this phase. Almost all of your voluntary muscles become temporarily inactive, preventing you from acting out your dreams. It's as if your brain creates a safety mechanism, allowing your mind to experience wild adventures while keeping your body safely in bed. This temporary paralysis is so complete that if you become aware of it, which sometimes happens in a phenomenon called sleep paralysis, it can be terrifying. People to move, awake but unable who experience sleep paralysis often report feeling like they're sometimes accompanied by hallucinations. But this paralysis is actually a crucial protective mechanism that prevents you from potentially injuring yourself while dreaming. During REM sleep, your brain is doing something absolutely remarkable with the memories and experiences from your day. Instead of just filing them away like it does during deep sleep, your brain starts mixing and matching different memories, creating novel combinations and scenarios. This is why dreams often feature familiar people in unfamiliar situations, or why you might find yourself in your childhood home talking to a coworker about something that happened last week. Your dreaming brain doesn't follow the logical rules of waking consciousness. Time can move backward or forward. You can be in multiple places simultaneously, and impossible things seem perfectly normal. This isn't a malfunction of your brain, it's actually a feature. Your dreaming mind is exploring possibilities, testing scenarios, and making connections that your logical, conscious mind might never consider. Some researchers believe that REM sleep and dreaming serve as a kind of overnight therapy session. During dreams, your brain can process emotional experiences in a safe environment, allowing you to work through fears, anxieties, and conflicts without real-world consequences. People who are dealing with trauma or stress often report having intense dreams as their minds attempt to process and integrate difficult experiences. The timing of REM sleep throughout the night is also fascinating. You don't just have one long REM period. Instead, you cycle through multiple REM phases, and they get longer and more frequent toward morning. Your first REM period might last only 5 to 10 minutes, but by the end of the night, you might spend 30 to 40 minutes in a single REM phase. This is why you're more likely to remember dreams from the morning hours, and why those dreams often feel more vivid and complex. Your brain is spending more time in this creative, associative state as morning approaches, which might also explain why many people report having their most creative insights or problem-solving breakthroughs in the early morning hours. The amount of REM sleep you get can dramatically affect your mood, creativity, and ability to regulate emotions the next day. People who are deprived of REM sleep often become irritable, have difficulty concentrating, and struggle with emotional regulation. This is because REM sleep plays a crucial role in processing emotional memories and maintaining psychological balance. Interestingly, certain medications, particularly antidepressants, can suppress REM sleep. While these medications can be helpful for managing depression and anxiety, the reduction in REM sleep might explain some of their side effects, such as vivid dreams when people stop taking them or difficulty with creative problem solving. Your brain cycles through all these stages, from light sleep to deep sleep to REM sleep, about 4 to 6 times throughout the night. Each complete cycle takes roughly 90 to 110 minutes, and the proportion of time spent in each stage changes as the night progresses. Early in the night, you spend more time in deep sleep, while later cycles contain more REM sleep. This cycling pattern isn't random. It's precisely calibrated to give your brain the different types of restoration and processing it needs. The deep sleep phases handle the heavy lifting of physical restoration and memory consolidation, while the REM phases focus on emotional processing, creativity, and complex problem solving. But what happens when this delicate cycle gets disrupted? When you don't get enough sleep, or when the quality of your sleep is poor, the effects on your mind can be dramatic and far-reaching. Your brain doesn't just feel tired, it actually starts to malfunction in specific, measurable ways that can affect every aspect of your mental performance. When you don't get enough quality sleep, your brain essentially starts running on fumes, and the effects ripple through every aspect of your mental performance. Think of it like trying to run a high-performance computer with a dying battery. Everything still technically works, but nothing operates at full capacity. The first thing that suffers when you're sleep deprived is your attention span. Your brain's ability to filter out distractions and focus on what's important becomes severely compromised. Scientists have measured this effect using something called the psychomotor vigilance task, where people simply have to press a button when they see a light appear on a screen. It sounds trivially easy, but sleep-deprived individuals start making errors and having delayed reaction times within just a few hours of missing sleep. But the attention problems go deeper than just being easily distracted. Sleep deprivation actually causes what researchers call microsleeps, brief moments where your brain essentially shuts down for a few seconds while you're still awake. These microsleeps can happen without you even realizing it, and they can be incredibly dangerous if you're driving or operating machinery. During these microsleeps, brain imaging shows that certain regions of your cortex literally go offline, while other areas remain active. It's like having parts of your brain take unauthorized naps while you're still trying to function. You might be looking directly at something, but not actually see it, or someone might be talking to you, but their words don't register. Your memory formation also takes a massive hit when you don't get enough sleep. Remember how I explained that sleep is crucial for transferring information from temporary to permanent storage? Well, when you're sleep deprived, this process becomes severely impaired. You can study or learn new information, but without adequate sleep, much of it simply won't stick. Studies have shown that people who stay awake for 24 hours perform as poorly on memory tests as people who are legally drunk. But here's what's really concerning about sleep deprivation and memory. You often don't realize how impaired you are. Sleep-deprived people consistently overestimate their cognitive abilities, thinking they're performing much better than they actually are. This false confidence can be particularly dangerous in professional settings. Surgeons, pilots, and other professionals who work long hours without adequate sleep often believe they're functioning normally, when in reality, their decision-making abilities and reaction times are significantly compromised. It's like being drunk but feeling completely sober. The emotional effects of sleep deprivation are equally dramatic. When you don't get enough REM sleep, your brain's emotional regulation system starts to break down. The amygdala, which processes fear and emotional responses, becomes hyperactive, while the prefrontal cortex, which normally keeps emotions in check, becomes less effective. This means that small stresses that you'd normally handle easily can feel overwhelming when you're sleep deprived. You might find yourself snapping at people, feeling unusually anxious, or having emotional reactions that seem disproportionate to the situation. Your brain simply loses its ability to maintain emotional balance. Sleep deprivation also affects your social interactions in surprising ways. When you're tired, you become less able to read other people's emotions accurately. You might interpret neutral expressions as hostile or miss important social cues that you'd normally pick up on easily. This can strain relationships and make social situations feel more challenging than they should be. But perhaps most concerning is what chronic sleep deprivation does to your brain over the long term. When you consistently don't get enough quality sleep, your brain doesn't have adequate time to perform its nightly cleaning routine. Those waste products I mentioned earlier, particularly beta amyloid proteins, start to accumulate. Recent research has shown that people who chronically sleep less than 7 hours per night have significantly higher levels of these toxic proteins in their brains. Over time, this accumulation may contribute to cognitive decline and increase the risk of neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's. The scary part is that this damage might be irreversible. While you can catch up on some aspects of sleep debt by sleeping longer on weekends, the deep cleaning that your brain needs happens every night. Miss too many of these cleaning cycles, and the accumulated damage might be permanent. Your brain's ability to form new neural connections also suffers with chronic sleep deprivation. During sleep, your brain strengthens important neural pathways and prunes away unnecessary ones. Without adequate sleep, this process becomes impaired, potentially affecting your ability to learn new skills and adapt to new situations. Sleep deprivation even affects your brain's reward system. When you're tired, your brain becomes less sensitive to natural rewards like social interaction or accomplishment, while becoming more sensitive to immediate gratifications like junk food or social media. This is why you might find yourself making poor decisions about diet, exercise, or time management when you're sleep deprived. The good news is that many of these effects are reversible if you address your sleep problems before they become chronic. When you start getting adequate, quality sleep again, your cognitive performance typically improves within just a few days. Your attention span sharpens, your memory formation returns to normal, and your emotional regulation stabilizes. However, recovering from severe sleep deprivation isn't as simple as just sleeping longer for a night or two. Your brain needs time to readjust its sleep architecture, restore proper neurotransmitter balance, and clear out accumulated waste products. Full recovery from chronic sleep deprivation can take weeks or even months of consistent, quality sleep. This is why understanding your individual sleep needs is so crucial. While the general recommendation is 7 to 9 hours per night for adults, some people need more and others can function well on slightly less. The key is paying attention to how you feel and perform after different amounts of sleep. Quality matters just as much as quantity. You could spend 9 hours in bed, but only get 5 hours of actual restorative sleep if you're frequently waking up, sleeping in an uncomfortable environment, or dealing with sleep disorders like sleep apnea. Your brain needs uninterrupted cycles through all the sleep stages to perform its essential maintenance work. Modern life presents unprecedented challenges to getting quality sleep. The blue light from screens can disrupt your brain's production of melatonin, the hormone that signals it's time to sleep. Stress from work, relationships, or world events can make it difficult for your brain to transition into sleep mode. Irregular schedules can throw off your circadian rhythms, making it hard to fall asleep and wake up at consistent times. But your sleeping brain is also remarkably adaptable and resilient. With the right strategies and environment, most people can dramatically improve their sleep quality and, in turn, their cognitive performance. Your brain wants to sleep well. It's designed to cycle through these restorative stages every night. Sometimes it just needs a little help getting back on track. Understanding what's really happening in your mind while you sleep isn't just fascinating from a scientific perspective, it's also empowering from a practical one. When you realize that sleep isn't just downtime, but actually active maintenance and enhancement of your mental abilities, it becomes easier to prioritize it in your daily life. Your sleeping mind is performing feats that would be impossible during waking hours. It's solving problems, consolidating memories, regulating emotions, and literally cleaning itself. Every night, you have the opportunity to wake up with a sharper, more creative, and more resilient brain than when you went to bed. But there's still so much more to discover about what happens during those mysterious hours of sleep. Recent advances in brain imaging technology are revealing new secrets about how different types of sleep affect various aspects of mental function, and researchers are developing new ways to optimize sleep for peak cognitive performance. The relationship between sleep and mental performance goes even deeper than most people realize. Your brain doesn't just randomly cycle through sleep stages throughout the night. It's actually running sophisticated programs that are specifically designed to enhance different types of cognitive abilities. During certain phases of sleep, your brain becomes incredibly selective about which memories it chooses to strengthen. It prioritizes information that has emotional significance, experiences that relate to your personal goals, and skills that you've been actively trying to develop. This isn't happening by accident. Your sleeping brain is essentially acting as a personal trainer for your mind, strengthening the neural pathways that matter most to you. Scientists have discovered that people who learn a new skill and then sleep immediately afterward show dramatically better performance than those who stay awake for the same period. But here's what's really fascinating about this process. Your brain doesn't just preserve what you learned, it actually improves upon it. Musicians who practice a challenging piece before bed often wake up playing it better than they could the night before, even without any additional practice. This overnight improvement happens because your sleeping brain continues to rehearse and refine motor skills and cognitive processes. It's like having a dedicated practice session that happens entirely in your subconscious. Your brain runs through the movements, identifies inefficiencies, and optimizes the neural pathways involved. The same process works for problem solving and creative thinking. When you go to bed with an unsolved problem on your mind, your sleeping brain doesn't just forget about it. Instead, it continues working on the problem using a completely different approach than your conscious mind would use. It makes connections between distant memories, combines ideas in novel ways, and sometimes arrives at solutions that your waking mind never would have considered. This is why so many breakthrough discoveries throughout history have reportedly come to people in their sleep or immediately upon waking. Your dreaming brain operates without the logical constraints that limit your waking thoughts. It can explore impossible scenarios, make seemingly random connections, and stumble upon insights that feel like they came from nowhere. But the benefits of sleep go beyond just individual memories and skills. Your sleeping brain also works on what scientists call schema formation, which is essentially your brain's way of organizing related information into meaningful patterns. When you sleep after learning about a new topic, your brain doesn't just file away the individual facts. It creates a mental framework that helps you understand how all those facts relate to each other and to things you already know. This schema formation is why you might wake up with a suddenly clearer understanding of a complex subject you were studying. Your brain spent the night building bridges between new information and your existing knowledge, creating a more comprehensive and accessible mental model. The timing of when you sleep after learning something can dramatically affect how well your brain processes it. The optimal window appears to be within about 4 hours of learning new information. Wait too long, and some of the memory consolidation benefits are lost. But sleep too soon after learning, and your brain might not have had enough time to initially process the information. Your sleeping brain also engages in what researchers call memory replay, where it literally replays experiences from your day at accelerated speeds. Brain imaging studies have shown that the same neural patterns that fire when you're learning something new will fire again during sleep, but much faster. It's like your brain is watching a high-speed replay of your day, reinforcing the most important moments. Interestingly, this memory replay doesn't just happen randomly. Your brain seems to prioritize replaying experiences that were incomplete or unresolved during your waking hours. If you were interrupted while working on a task, or if you encountered something unexpected that didn't fit your existing knowledge, your sleeping brain is more likely to replay and work on those experiences. This might explain why you sometimes wake up with solutions to problems that were bothering you the day before, or why you suddenly understand something that confused you earlier. Your sleeping brain has been working overtime to resolve the cognitive loose ends from your day. The social and emotional processing that happens during sleep is equally remarkable. Your dreaming mind often puts you in social situations with people from your life, allowing you to explore different ways of interacting with them. These dream scenarios can actually improve your social skills and emotional intelligence by giving you a safe space to practice navigating complex interpersonal dynamics. People who get adequate REM sleep show better emotional recognition abilities the next day. They're more accurate at reading facial expressions, picking up on emotional cues and voices, and understanding the subtleties of social interactions. It's as if sleep provides a nightly tune-up for your social brain, keeping your interpersonal skills sharp and calibrated. Your sleeping brain also processes and integrates emotional experiences in ways that can be genuinely therapeutic. During REM sleep, your brain can revisit emotionally charged memories while stress hormones are naturally suppressed. This allows you to process difficult experiences without being overwhelmed by the emotional intensity that might have accompanied them during your waking hours. This natural emotional processing might explain why people often report feeling better about stressful situations after sleeping on them. Your brain has literally worked through some of the emotional charge associated with those experiences, making them easier to handle rationally when you wake up. The neuroplasticity changes that occur during sleep are particularly fascinating. Neuroplasticity is your brain's ability to reorganize itself, forming new neural connections and modifying existing ones. During sleep, this process goes into overdrive. Your brain strengthens connections that were used frequently during the day while weakening or eliminating connections that weren't needed. This neural remodeling is so extensive that you literally wake up with a slightly different brain than the one you went to sleep with. The physical structure of your neural networks has been modified based on your experiences from the previous day. It's like your brain is constantly renovating itself, optimizing its architecture for better performance. Young people's brains show particularly dramatic neuroplastic changes during sleep, which might explain why children and teenagers need more sleep than adults. Their brains are not just maintaining existing neural networks, they're rapidly building new ones. The extensive neural construction work happening in developing brains requires more sleep time to complete. But neuroplasticity doesn't stop in adulthood. Your brain continues to modify its structure throughout your entire life, and sleep remains crucial for this process. Adults who get quality sleep show greater neuroplasticity and are better able to learn new skills, adapt to changes, and recover from brain injuries. The glymphatic system I mentioned earlier becomes even more important when you consider its role in brain plasticity. This cleaning system doesn't just remove waste products, it also clears away molecular debris that could interfere with the formation of new neural connections. Think of it as clearing away construction debris so that new neural pathways can be built more efficiently. Recent research has revealed that the glymphatic system is most active during specific phases of sleep, particularly during slow-wave sleep. The deeper your sleep, the more effectively this cleaning system operates. This might explain why people who consistently get deep, restorative sleep tend to maintain better cognitive function as they age. Your brain's sleep needs also change based on what you're trying to learn or accomplish. People who are learning motor skills, like playing a musical instrument or perfecting a golf swing, benefit most from early sleep when slow-wave sleep is most abundant. Those who are working on cognitive tasks, like learning a new language or solving complex problems, may benefit more from later sleep periods rich in REM sleep. Understanding these patterns can help you optimize your sleep for specific goals. If you're trying to master a physical skill, going to bed earlier might give you more of the slow-wave sleep that consolidates motor memories. If you're working on creative projects or complex problem solving, you might benefit more from ensuring you get adequate REM sleep in the later part of the night. The individual differences in sleep architecture are also fascinating. Some people naturally have more slow-wave sleep, while others have more REM sleep. These differences might partially explain why some individuals excel at different types of learning and cognitive tasks. Your personal sleep signature could be influencing your strengths and abilities in ways you never realized. What's becoming increasingly clear is that sleep isn't just a biological necessity, it's a cognitive superpower that most people dramatically underutilize. Every night, you have the opportunity to literally upgrade your brain's performance, but only if you give your sleeping mind the time and conditions it needs to do its remarkable work. The implications of this research extend far beyond just getting better grades or performing better at work. Quality sleep might be one of the most powerful tools we have for maintaining mental health, preventing cognitive decline, and maximizing human potential throughout our lives. The relationship between sleep and your brain's ability to regulate itself goes even deeper than most people realize. When you're awake, your brain is constantly making decisions, processing information, and managing your body's systems. But all of this mental work creates what scientists call cognitive load, essentially mental fatigue that accumulates throughout the day. During sleep, your brain gets to reset this cognitive load in remarkable ways. The prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for executive functions like decision-making, impulse control, and planning, gets a particularly thorough restoration during sleep. This is why you might struggle with simple decisions late at night, but wake up with crystal clear thinking the next morning. Your sleeping brain also recalibrates your attention networks. Throughout the day, your attention gets pulled in countless directions, from work tasks to social media notifications to random thoughts that pop into your head. This constant switching between different types of attention gradually wears down your mental resources. But during sleep, your brain essentially defragments your attention systems, reorganizing them for optimal performance. The networks responsible for focused attention get strengthened, while the systems that control mind-wandering and daydreaming get fine-tuned. This is why a well-rested mind can maintain laser focus on important tasks while still being open to creative insights. One of the most surprising discoveries in sleep research is how your brain handles conflicting information during sleep. Throughout the day, you encounter contradictory facts, competing priorities, and situations where different parts of your knowledge seem to disagree with each other. Your waking mind often struggles to resolve these conflicts, leading to mental stress and confusion. Your sleeping brain approaches these conflicts completely differently. Instead of trying to force a logical resolution, it explores multiple possibilities simultaneously. During dreams, your mind can hold contradictory ideas without the stress that would normally accompany such cognitive dissonance. This allows your brain to find creative solutions that reconcile seemingly incompatible information. This conflict resolution process explains why you might wake up with a new perspective on a situation that seemed impossible to resolve the night before. Your sleeping mind didn't just ignore the contradictions, it found a way to integrate them into a more complete understanding. The way your brain processes language during sleep is equally fascinating. Even while you're completely unconscious, your brain continues to process linguistic patterns and structures. People who are learning a new language show remarkable improvements in grammar and syntax after sleep, even without any conscious practice. Your sleeping brain seems to extract the underlying rules and patterns from the language examples you encountered during the day. It's like having a linguistics professor working in your subconscious, identifying grammatical structures and organizing them in ways that make the language more intuitive to use. This language processing extends beyond just learning new languages. Your sleeping brain also works on refining your communication skills in your native language. It processes the conversations you had during the day, analyzes what worked well and what didn't, and helps you develop more effective ways of expressing yourself. People who get quality sleep often report feeling more articulate and persuasive the next day. Their word choice becomes more precise, their arguments more compelling, and their ability to read social cues in conversation improves dramatically. It's as if sleep provides a nightly upgrade to your communication software. The mathematical and logical reasoning abilities that emerge from sleep are particularly striking. Your sleeping brain doesn't just memorize mathematical formulas or logical rules, it develops an intuitive understanding of mathematical relationships and logical principles. Students who sleep after learning math concepts often show improved problem-solving abilities that go beyond what they explicitly studied. This happens because your sleeping brain identifies abstract patterns that underlie specific mathematical problems. Instead of just remembering how to solve particular equations, your brain extracts the general principles that apply across many different types of problems. You wake up with a deeper, more flexible understanding of mathematical relationships. The same pattern recognition abilities apply to other domains as well. Your sleeping brain can identify subtle patterns in music, art, human behavior, and even complex systems like weather or financial markets. This pattern recognition often operates below the level of conscious awareness, giving you intuitive insights that feel like gut feelings or hunches. These intuitive insights can be remarkably accurate, even when you can't consciously explain why you feel a certain way about a situation. Your sleeping brain has processed vast amounts of subtle information and identified patterns that your conscious mind might have missed. The way sleep affects your risk assessment and decision-making abilities is particularly important in our complex modern world. During the day, you're constantly making decisions based on incomplete information. Your brain has to estimate probabilities, weigh potential outcomes, and choose between different courses of action. Sleep helps calibrate these decision-making systems by allowing your brain to review past decisions and their outcomes. During sleep, your brain essentially runs simulations of different scenarios, helping you develop better intuition about which choices are likely to lead to positive outcomes. People who get adequate sleep show dramatically better judgment in complex situations. They're more accurate at assessing risks, better at recognizing when they need more information before making a decision, and more skilled at weighing short-term costs against long-term benefits. Your sleeping brain also works on what psychologists call emotional regulation strategies. Throughout the day, you encounter situations that trigger strong emotions, from frustration with traffic to excitement about good news to anxiety about upcoming challenges. Managing these emotions effectively requires sophisticated mental skills. During sleep, your brain practices and refines these emotional regulation techniques. It explores different ways of responding to emotional triggers, essentially rehearsing more effective strategies for managing your emotional responses. This is why people who get quality sleep tend to be more emotionally stable and resilient. The rehearsal isn't just theoretical. Your brain actually strengthens the neural pathways involved in effective emotional regulation while weakening the pathways associated with maladaptive responses. You literally wake up with improved emotional skills. Sleep also affects your ability to maintain motivation and pursue long-term goals. The brain systems responsible for motivation and goal-directed behavior require regular maintenance to function effectively. Without adequate sleep, these systems begin to malfunction, making it harder to stay focused on important objectives. During sleep, your brain reinforces the neural connections between your goals and the actions needed to achieve them. It also strengthens your ability to resist short-term temptations that might interfere with your long-term objectives. This is why well-rested people tend to make better choices about diet, exercise, spending, and other behaviors that require self-control. The relationship between sleep and creativity deserves special attention because it reveals something profound about how your mind generates new ideas. Creativity isn't just about having random thoughts pop into your head. It requires your brain to make novel connections between existing knowledge, to see familiar things from new perspectives, and to combine ideas in ways that haven't been tried before. Your sleeping brain is uniquely suited for this type of creative work because it operates without the logical constraints that limit your waking thoughts. During dreams, your mind can explore impossible scenarios, make seemingly random associations, and follow trains of thought that would seem absurd during waking hours. But this apparent randomness isn't actually random at all. Your dreaming brain is systematically exploring the space of possible connections between different pieces of information. It's like having a creativity algorithm running in the background, constantly generating new combinations and testing whether they might lead to useful insights. Many artists, scientists, and inventors have reported getting their best ideas during or immediately after sleep. This isn't just coincidence or wishful thinking. Their sleeping brains were literally working on creative problems, exploring solution spaces that their conscious minds couldn't access. The social intelligence that emerges from quality sleep is equally remarkable. Human social interactions are incredibly complex, involving subtle cues, unspoken rules, and intricate dynamics that change based on context. Successfully navigating these social complexities requires sophisticated cognitive abilities. Your sleeping brain spends significant time processing social information from your day. It analyzes the interactions you had, identifies patterns in how different people respond to various approaches, and helps you develop more effective social strategies. This processing happens largely outside of conscious awareness, but its effects are profound. People who get adequate sleep show better social judgment, more accurate empathy, and improved ability to influence others positively. They're more skilled at reading between the lines in conversations, better at timing their communications for maximum impact, and more adept at building and maintaining relationships. The way your brain integrates new information with existing knowledge during sleep is particularly important for expertise development. Becoming truly expert at something requires more than just accumulating facts or practicing skills. It requires developing deep, interconnected knowledge structures that allow for flexible and creative application of what you've learned. Sleep is crucial for building these expert knowledge structures. During sleep, Your brain doesn't just strengthen individual memories, it builds bridges between related pieces of information, creating rich networks of interconnected knowledge. These networks allow experts to see patterns that novices miss, to make intuitive leaps that seem almost magical, and to apply their knowledge creatively in novel situations. This expertise development process continues throughout life, but it requires consistent, quality sleep to function effectively. Without adequate sleep, your brain struggles to integrate new information with existing knowledge, limiting your ability to develop true expertise in any domain. The implications of all this research are staggering. Your sleeping mind isn't just maintaining your basic cognitive functions, it's actively enhancing them in ways that can dramatically improve your performance in virtually every area of life. From problem solving and creativity to emotional regulation and social skills, sleep provides nightly upgrades to your mental capabilities. But here's what makes this even more remarkable. Most people are operating far below their cognitive potential simply because they're not giving their sleeping minds the time and conditions needed to do this transformative work. Every night that you cut your sleep short or compromise its quality, you're essentially declining a free upgrade to your mental performance. The good news is that this incredible cognitive enhancement system is already built into your brain. You don't need any special equipment, expensive supplements, or complicated training programs. You just need to understand what your sleeping mind requires to do its remarkable work and then provide those conditions consistently. Your brain is quite literally designed to become smarter, more creative, and more capable every single night. The question isn't whether this system works. The question is whether you're going to take advantage of it. Every time you go to sleep, you have the opportunity to wake up with an upgraded mind, but only if you give your sleeping brain the respect and priority it deserves. The optimization of your sleep environment plays a crucial role in determining just how effectively your brain can perform all of these remarkable nighttime functions. Think of your bedroom as a laboratory where some of the most important cognitive work of your entire day takes place. Every element of this environment, from temperature to lighting to sound, directly influences your brain's ability to cycle through its essential maintenance and enhancement programs. Temperature regulation is perhaps the most critical factor that most people completely overlook. Your brain requires a specific thermal environment to transitions effectively between sleep stages. As you prepare for sleep, your core body temperature naturally drops by about 1 to 2 degrees Fahrenheit. This temperature decrease is actually a signal to your brain that it's time to begin the sleep process. But here's where it gets interesting. Your brain doesn't just passively respond to temperature changes. It actively uses temperature as a tool to regulate sleep architecture. During deep sleep phases, your body's temperature regulation system essentially goes offline. You lose the ability to shiver when cold or sweat when hot. This means that if your sleeping environment is too warm or too cold, your brain will sacrifice deep sleep to maintain basic temperature regulation. Studies have shown that people sleeping in rooms that are too warm spend significantly less time in the crucial deep sleep stages where memory consolidation and brain cleaning occur. Their brains are forced to choose between thermal regulation and cognitive restoration, and thermal regulation always wins. This is why you might feel unrested even after spending 8 or 9 hours in bed if your room was too hot. The optimal sleeping temperature for most people is between 65 and 68 degrees Fahrenheit, though individual preferences can vary slightly. What's fascinating is that your brain actually anticipates this temperature drop and begins preparing for sleep when it senses the environment cooling down. This is why taking a warm bath before bed can actually help you fall asleep faster. The contrast between the warm bath and the cooler room temperature triggers your brain's sleep initiation sequence. Light exposure has an equally profound impact on your brain's sleep architecture, and this goes far beyond just making sure your room is dark. Your brain contains a sophisticated internal clock called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, which responds to light and darkness to regulate your circadian rhythms. This internal timekeeper doesn't just control when you feel sleepy, it orchestrates the timing of nearly every biological process in your body. During the day, exposure to bright light, particularly blue light, sends signals to your brain that it should be alert and active. This suppresses the production of melatonin, the hormone that promotes sleep, and keeps your internal clock synchronized with the external environment. But as evening approaches, your brain expects light levels to decrease, which triggers the gradual release of melatonin and prepares your body for sleep. The problem with modern life is that we're exposed to artificial light long after the sun sets, particularly the blue light emitted by phones, tablets, computers, and LED lights. This artificial light exposure confuses your brain's internal clock, making it think it's still daytime when you should be preparing for sleep. Your melatonin production gets suppressed, your internal temperature regulation gets disrupted, and your brain struggles to initiate the proper sleep sequence. Even small amounts of light during sleep can disrupt your brain's natural cycles. Your eyelids aren't completely opaque, so light in your sleeping environment can penetrate through and signal your brain to reduce deep sleep phases. This is why people who sleep with streetlights outside their windows or electronic devices with glowing displays often report feeling less rested, even if they don't consciously wake up during the night. The solution isn't just about making your bedroom dark, though that's certainly important. It's about managing your light exposure throughout the entire day to support your brain's natural rhythms. This means getting plenty of bright light during the morning and early afternoon, gradually reducing light exposure in the evening, and ensuring complete darkness during sleep hours. Sound presents another layer of complexity in optimizing your sleep environment. Your brain doesn't completely shut off its auditory processing during sleep, which means that sounds in your environment continue to influence your sleep quality even when you're not consciously aware of them. But not all sounds affect sleep in the same way. Sudden, unexpected sounds are particularly disruptive because they trigger your brain's threat detection systems even during sleep. A car horn, a door slamming, or a dog barking can cause brief arousals that interrupt your sleep cycles without fully waking you up. These micro-awakenings prevent your brain from spending adequate time in the deeper sleep stages, reducing the quality of memory consolidation and brain restoration that occurs during the night. Consistent, predictable sounds, on the other hand, can actually improve sleep quality by masking more disruptive noises. This is why many people find white noise, fan sounds, or nature sounds helpful for sleep. These consistent audio environments provide a steady acoustic backdrop that helps prevent sudden sounds from disrupting sleep cycles. Your brain also responds differently to various types of sounds during different sleep stages. During light sleep phases, you're more susceptible to being awakened by sounds, while during deep sleep, your auditory processing is significantly reduced. Understanding these patterns can help you optimize your sleep environment and timing. The air quality in your sleeping environment affects your brain's ability to perform its nighttime functions in ways that most people never consider. Your brain consumes approximately 20% of your body's total oxygen, and this demand continues during sleep. Poor air quality, whether from stuffiness, pollutants, or inadequate ventilation, can reduce the oxygen availability to your brain and compromise sleep quality. Carbon dioxide levels in your bedroom can gradually increase throughout the night, especially in poorly ventilated spaces. As CO2 levels rise, your brain has to work harder to maintain adequate oxygen levels, which can reduce the depth and quality of your sleep. This is why some people feel more rested when they sleep with a window slightly open or use a fan to improve air circulation. Humidity levels also play a role in sleep quality. Air that's too dry can cause nasal congestion and throat irritation, leading to disrupted sleep and reduced oxygen intake. Air that's too humid can make you feel uncomfortably warm and interfere with your body's natural temperature regulation. The optimal humidity range for sleep is typically between 30 and 50%. The psychological environment of your bedroom is just as important as the physical environment. Your brain forms strong associations between your sleeping space and various activities or emotional states. If you regularly use your bedroom for work, watching television, having arguments, or other stimulating activities, your brain begins to associate that space with alertness rather than sleep. This conditioning effect can make it much harder for your brain to transition into sleep mode when you get into bed. Instead of recognizing your bedroom as a place for rest and restoration, your brain remains in an alert, active state, making it difficult to initiate the sleep process. This is why sleep specialists often recommend using your bedroom only for sleep and intimate activities, creating a strong psychological association between that space and rest. The timing of your sleep is another crucial factor that determines how effectively your brain can perform its nighttime work. Your circadian rhythms create natural windows of optimal sleep timing that vary slightly from person to person but follow predictable patterns. Going to bed and waking up at consistent times helps synchronize your internal clock with these natural rhythms, maximizing the quality of each sleep stage. When you go to bed at dramatically different times from night to night, your brain struggles to predict when it should begin preparing for sleep. This creates a kind of internal jet lag that can persist even when you're not traveling across time zones. Your brain's sleep preparation systems become desynchronized, reducing the effectiveness of memory consolidation, emotional processing, and brain cleaning that should occur during sleep. The concept of sleep debt is more complex than simply adding up hours of missed sleep. Your brain's sleep needs aren't just about quantity, they're about getting the right types of sleep at the right times. You can't fully compensate for a week of poor sleep by sleeping late on the weekend because your brain needs consistent, regular access to all sleep stages to perform its essential functions. Recent research has revealed that individual differences in sleep architecture can be quite significant. Some people naturally have longer or shorter sleep cycles, different proportions of various sleep stages, or different optimal timing for sleep and wake periods. These individual differences help explain why generic sleep advice doesn't work equally well for everyone. Understanding your personal sleep patterns can help you optimize your rest for maximum cognitive benefit. Some people are naturally early risers who feel most alert in the morning, while others are night owls who perform best later in the day. These preferences aren't just habits or lifestyle choices, they reflect real differences in brain chemistry and circadian rhythm timing. The relationship between physical activity and sleep quality reveals another important aspect of sleep optimization. Regular exercise can significantly improve sleep quality, but the timing and intensity of physical activity can dramatically affect how well your brain transitions into sleep mode. Vigorous exercise close to bedtime can raise your core body temperature and increase alertness, making it harder for your brain to initiate sleep. However, regular physical activity during the day helps regulate your circadian rhythms, improves your body's ability to regulate temperature during sleep, and can increase the amount of deep sleep your brain generates. People who exercise regularly typically spend more time in the restorative deep sleep stages, where memory consolidation and brain cleaning occur most effectively. The foods you eat and when you eat them also influence your brain's ability to generate quality sleep. Heavy meals close to bedtime can interfere with sleep by requiring significant digestive activity that competes with sleep processes. Caffeine can remain in your system for 6 to 8 hours after consumption, continuing to block sleep-promoting chemicals in your brain long after you feel the stimulating effects. Alcohol presents a particularly complex relationship with sleep. While it might initially make you feel drowsy and help you fall asleep faster, alcohol actually disrupts sleep architecture by suppressing REM sleep and causing frequent micro-awakenings throughout the night. People who drink alcohol before bed often report feeling unrefreshed the next day, even if they spent adequate time in bed. The role of stress and mental state in sleep quality cannot be overstated. When your mind is racing with worries, plans, or unresolved problems, your brain has difficulty transitioning from the alert, problem-solving mode of wakefulness to the restoration mode of sleep. High levels of stress hormones like cortisol can suppress the production of sleep-promoting chemicals and make it difficult to maintain deep sleep stages. Developing effective strategies for managing pre-sleep mental activity is crucial for optimizing your brain's nighttime performance. This might involve keeping a journal to externalize worries and plans, practicing relaxation techniques to calm your nervous system, or establishing a consistent pre-sleep routine that signals to your brain that it's time to transition into rest mode. The cumulative effect of all these environmental and behavioral factors on your sleep quality can be dramatic. Small improvements in multiple areas often produce much larger improvements in overall sleep quality than major changes in just one area. Your brain responds to the total sleep environment, not just individual factors in isolation. What's particularly encouraging about sleep optimization is that most of the factors that influence sleep quality are completely within your control Unlike many other aspects of cognitive enhancement, improving your sleep doesn't require expensive equipment, complicated training programs, or genetic advantages. It simply requires understanding what your brain needs to perform its nighttime work and then consistently providing those conditions. The return on investment for sleep optimization is remarkable. The improvements in cognitive performance, emotional regulation, creativity, and overall mental health that come from quality sleep far exceed what you might achieve through most other interventions. You're essentially getting a nightly upgrade to your brain's capabilities simply by creating the right conditions for sleep to occur naturally. Your brain wants to sleep well. It's designed to cycle through these restorative and enhancing processes every night. When you provide the right environment and conditions, your sleeping mind will naturally perform the remarkable work of maintaining, repairing, and upgrading your cognitive abilities. The question isn't whether your brain can do this incredible work. The question is whether you're going to give it the opportunity to do so. Every night represents a choice about how well your brain will function the next day and beyond. You can either support your brain's natural sleep processes and wake up with enhanced mental capabilities, or you can compromise those processes and operate below your cognitive potential. The power to make that choice is entirely in your hands, and the benefits of making the right choice compound night after night, year after year. Understanding what really happens to your mind while you sleep transforms sleep from a passive necessity into an active investment in your mental performance and long-term cognitive health. Your sleeping brain is working harder and more intelligently than you ever imagined, performing feats of restoration, consolidation, and enhancement that would be impossible during waking hours. The only question remaining is whether you'll give this remarkable system the respect and priority it deserves. So there you have it, the incredible hidden world of your sleeping mind revealed. Every night when you close your eyes, you're not just shutting down, you're powering up one of the most sophisticated restoration and enhancement systems in the known universe. Your brain is solving problems, consolidating memories, cleaning itself, and literally rewiring its neural networks to make you smarter, more creative, and more capable. The next time someone tells you that sleep is a waste of time, you'll know they couldn't be more wrong. Sleep isn't time lost, it's time invested. It's your brain's nightly opportunity to transform from good to great, to process the chaos of your day into the clarity of tomorrow, and prepare you for whatever challenges lie ahead. But here's the thing about all this remarkable science. It only works if you actually prioritize sleep in your life. You can't hack your way around it. You can't supplement your way out of it. And you definitely can't push through it without consequences. Your sleeping mind is offering you a nightly upgrade to your cognitive abilities, but you have to show up for the appointment. Quality sleep might just be the most powerful performance enhancer that most people completely ignore. While others are searching for the latest productivity hack or brain training app, the real secret to mental excellence has been right there all along, waiting patiently for you to close your eyes and let your remarkable sleeping mind do what it does best. So tonight, when you lay your head on your pillow, remember that you're not just going to bed, you're entering the most important laboratory of your entire day. Give your sleeping brain the time, the environment, and the respect it deserves, and it will reward you with capabilities you never knew you had. Sweet dreams, and wake up ready to think better than you ever have before.